Yeah, I hate to be the buzzkill because that's such an interesting conversation, and I think it could go on for a very long time. But there are amazing speakers listed today, including Mr. Fawzi Behmann, I want to make sure I'm saying that correctly, who is the president of TelNet Management Consulting. He is the vice chair of the IEEE North America Communications Society. He's got 30 years in the industry, including senior positions with Teleglobe Canada, Nortel Networks, Motorola Freescale, is the founder of TelNet Management Consulting. He's co-authored a book. He has amazing leadership roles in several industry organizations, including the IEEE, the co-founder of the Intelligent Health Association, IoT for Healthcare Consortium, and the founding chair of the IEEE Central Texas EMBS chapter here in Austin. I think I could keep going on your bio for your full 15 minutes, but I will give you the floor. Please join us. Thank you. I'll pull this up for you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to be with you here. I wanted to go over a few things here in terms of how city go about planning, and in particular, I'm trying to put a focus as to avoiding having like a piecemeal type of solution or a patch solution, but rather have a cognitive approach as far as how to go about planning. This is the abstract, which is essentially what would like to cover in terms of the issues, how we go about taking a longer range and much more perspective view in planning effectively and proactively for city challenges. So as we see, city is always confronted with a number of issues as far as there are more people coming into town year by year. For example, Austin experiencing somewhere around 110 individuals coming to the city every single day. You could say maybe 70 cars also will be arriving every day. So that's, as you could see, causing a lot of issues and challenges to the city from planning perspective, as far as how we can accommodate from planning for traffic, for cars, highway, housing, et cetera, health services. And and also in terms of how we can do that more effectively, and how would we measure what we are doing is really making sense, and there is a return on investments. There's a greater satisfaction on the lives of people and improvement in terms of efficiency. But also we have to exercise all that with a tight budget and limited resources. That's really typically what the city is facing. But a number of goals that any kind of municipality is facing is really how to go about providing economic growth for the city itself, and ensuring the safety and quality of service to the individuals, and of course providing sustainable approach to the offerings, and trying to have that across multiple of vertical markets. So as you could see here, it could be over health, it could be over educations, it could be over transportations, and a number of areas. So this is really a big challenge to organize a plan for cities. Now the city, if we can look at the waves that they are confronted with, I talk about some of the challenges. If we add some statistics to that, the rate of increase of people moving to the urban is increasing from time to time. So if we look at the 70s, there are about 30% increase in terms of millions of people moving to the urban community. If we look at 2014, that went up to about 54%. And if we look at by 2050, there will be about 66%. So the city have to take into account that a lot of people still quite a bit of interest in moving to the city. Certainly that will cause a lot of issues. How are we going to find parking? How are we going to increase the number of lanes in the road, and how to accommodate housing and things of that sort. But on the other hand, they have to look at, there are other waves also that causing improvement. For example, the whole notion of what we have been hearing all this morning about IoT, and what IoT and with the collaborative technologies such as LTE and the coming 4G, 5G will have impact. It will have impact on the individual, as you could see here, with wearables and body area network. The individual with the environment they are in, like at the home here, trying to live in a comfortable environment that's manageable in terms of air conditioning, in terms of temperature, in terms of HVAC management, in terms of safety, and so on, as well as in terms of managing your efficiency operation in the home, like in energy, and having an approach like end-to-end type of smart energy, where not only the grid is providing the supply of energy to you, but also you have the options of exercising when to consume, when to run appliances under a lower rate, and when you have excess energy, how you can sell that back to the grid and get some credit for it. So these are the kind of trends that we are going to witness in the coming years. They are coming in increments, but I think the planners need to look into that. The whole notion that, as we have been hearing about, providing smart connectivities in the car, whether it is Wi-Fi or cellular, and how not only that you are able to understand a lot about the functionality of the car itself, but also about the behavior of the car and how you can provide some safety measures in terms of collision avoidance and maintaining a speed that is within a certain lane, and also how you could connect with other cars to warn against issues and so on, how we can connect with the infrastructure. So 5G is coming in, and it really have a greater impact, as we have been hearing, in terms of coverage, in terms of speed, in terms of latency, and the greater effect that it will have in things like IoT with an increased number of sensors that we'll be able to manage, in terms of smart grids, smart homes, all the things that we could see that are a building block for a smart city. So we need also to be conscious as far as how we can leverage such technology and introduce it gradually, so that by the time of 5G services are rolled in and after 2020, at least we are ready, have built the infrastructure to accommodate it. One of the things that were really shocking in terms of bandwidth consumption is the whole notion of video. And not only in terms of talking about video streaming, but also in terms of whether it is a high-definition video or virtual reality type video with 360 degree in terms of streaming coverage. These are all types of, as they predict here, it will cover 60% of the traffic will be mobile as a result of video services. So if we take a snapshot, then we see what's going to happen in 2020, what is IoT is bringing into the equations. We could see a lot of applications that will be developed. We were looking here about 25 million apps that will be developed. Today, I think we have 4 million apps. We have 50 trillion type of gigabit of data that will be collected, and a number of systems, and of course greater revenue opportunities. We have also to look at this spectrum of the wireless and cellular, both in terms of unlicensed as well as licensed. Licensed with the one that will give you more of a guarantee services. Which one to be used under what type of condition for what type of solutions. Given all that, how we can put all these things into equations. We talk about so many vertical markets, we talked about so many standardizations, activities, and so on. This picture itself is actually part of the book that Chelsea was mentioning, the Collaborative IoT, provide a visual view and conceptual view that accommodate any vertical markets. So in the bottom of the pyramid or of the triangle is really the sensing environment. What are the kind of objects that you want to tap into to turn them from a passive object to be an active object? And these are what are the sensors that you want to apply for transportation, or apply for housing, or apply for security. Then as you extract that data, how you are managing that data and processing initially, especially in real time, which is the middle layer, and then how you are actually introducing it and cloud analyzing the data. Lots of data that could show that actually if we introduce that and speed, there could be a lower number of cars on the road, because now we're introducing a lot of safety in that approach. And therefore, they are running with a number of experiments that have been running in so many, over 12 cities worldwide, showing, hey, we can If we are doing that, if we can, instead of providing that segmented type of piecemeal solution, but we provide an integrated collaborative applications that can process multiple transportation in that area, such as train and bus and so on, will make the life of an individual a lot easier, because you can book in advance, as you are showing here, how you can decide from origin to destinations, how you are booking for it, how you are paying for it, and how you are servicing it, how you are doing it for month-to-month type of basis. That's one approach that could help, for example, take away the traffic business and bringing much better living conditions actually to individuals in terms of commuting. The second area is in the whole arena in terms of public safety and first responders. So as we're bringing intelligence to traffic lights and to smart street lights and provide connectivity with the cars that they are, we could use some of these things for a specific purpose and a specific function, such as public safety, by providing an emergency or a mode of transportation that allow the first responder to arrive to the scene in a much faster rate. However, we can take that step further and not only finding the fastest route, and also equip with the, let's say, the fire trucks if there are big fire happening, equip them with the right supplies depending on the fire conditions. But that requires advanced planning, and risk-based type of approach is quite important. So you may have heard about GIS, Graphical Information System. This is used really to specify every building and every establishment as to the characteristic and the risk that it is exposed, so that in case of fire, you know exactly what need to dispatch, as well as you arrive, the fire truck have detailed information as to the nature of the fire. Maybe they will send a drone first to collect some informations, and at least they will have built a strategy as far as how to combat that fire more effectively. And then you can add a whole host of ecosystem type of solutions so that you can have a much better strategy to combat fire. So what's this results, and if we're just giving these two examples about alleviating traffic congestions, as well as providing a better service in terms of saving lives with the first responder type of faster type of network, you're emerging, if you apply that for every vertical market, you are applying for a smarter connectivity among these islands of vertical market itself. And consequently, it will end up not only resulting in better efficiency and better operations, but also improving the quality of the individuals that are really operating within that type of environment. So to simplify, then you have a whole bunch of sensors that are relevant to a specific market or multiple markets. You go through a process of processing, of analyzing the informations and acting on it in real time. Some of it really is going and providing better trend and more insights with artificial intelligence. But at the end, you're resulting to a greater level of services that you could manifest itself in a better educations and better consumptions of energy and better type of transportation and so on. So the net result is really more better, as you could see here, a fruit of benefits and of applying collaborative technology for a city in terms of greater efficiency and green type of environment and better transportations, better healthcare, and a number of variety of things. So the recommended approach really is take a cognitive approach. Take a look at the 2025 era. What do you envisage would happen as a plan for your city? How do you think the city will look like? And analyze the interaction and interceptions of technology that may happen around your way, and then take a closer focus by looking at the next 5 years and build up much more detailed blueprint and a roadmap as far as what you want to roll in. And then start with the things like proof of concept, pilot studies, and so on, because these are evidence. When you talk about technology to municipalities and so on, they see it, but they see it in terms of information, but they do not see the effect of it until you do some things like a pilot. So sometimes pilot and proof of concept help a lot to illustrate how things happening in a smaller scale, but then apply it in a larger scale, help actually to bring that into commercialization. And I think that's about it. Thank you very much.
I've had a lot of jobs in my lifetime, and this is probably the hardest one because I could literally listen to that presentation for about an hour longer. But it is